Hi everybody, it's time for lap steel, isn't it? So, I love lap steels, and it's something for you that you've been playing for a while. You might want something different to play. And of course they're called steel guitars because you use a steel bar on them to play them. They're tuned to an open chord and you put them on your lap. There's either lap steels, table steels that have legs, or pedal steels. And lap steels are easy. Most of them are 6 strings. You can buy like this Harmony. This is a 1960s Harmony. It's about 375 bucks. They sound okay. And they're pretty maintenance free, pretty bulletproof. I've got this in, which is a cheap Chinese one. It's about 145 bucks. That'll get you there if you've never tried one before. This is a Rickenbacker. Now in the world of steels, it's Ricky, Fender, Gibson, and everybody else. National too, to a large degree. They make some really great pickups. Tuned to a chord. When you play a steel, of course, I like to tuck the round end here. A lot of people will use this round end, but for me, I like to grip onto this, tuck it into there, and remember, when you're playing a steel, it resonates on both sides of the steel. You got to put some meat back behind it when you're playing, so you're going to put something down on behind the steel. So don't just play it like that. You want to play it down like that, and you're not playing between the frets like you do on a guitar. You're on the fret, so you need to be right over the fret. Rickenbacker invented the electric guitar. It was actually a steel guitar, the frying pan guitar. And they went on to make them out of non-wood items. Bakelite, the plastic, one of the early plastics. Very interesting story if you look it up, how Bakelite was invented. And the clue is World War I and gun woody. But these Rickenbackers with their horseshoe magnet, that is actually in this era a magnet surrounding the coil, and that gives off a really high capacitance, and these tend to be really loud. And it's good if they're slightly out of tune. Rickies are shorter scale. A lot of guys like that. You don't reach up into the high register that much with a shorter scale instrument, but you can move around a little bit, and Rickies also have that famous Rickenbacker tone. Here, you sit there and stay. Go. Stay. Ah, now it's out of tune again. This is a Gibson. You'll see a lot of these. These have P90 pickups. The earlier Gibsons have slug magnets. In other words, they're not screws that can go up and down. They're slug magnets. Those magnets tend to have more cobalt in them, and they're a little softer. They're a softer alnico, aluminum, nickel, cobalt. Those slug magnet pickups, they have a different sound. Most of these are just your regular P90. A lot of these get rated of pots. Your Gibsons, the pots in here are worth on another guitar. They're worth quite a bit. Pots can be $200–300 a piece. The jacks are something that people will steal. This guitar has had those taken away, so it's a little cheaper. But as a Gibson, it's a little longer scale length than the Rickenbacker. It's another thing too, you can bend behind the bar. Boy, when I was a teenager, some old guy showed me that. I was like, yeah. I like pulling one of these out and like singing one song that you can learn. You tune it to an open chord. If you've never done a chord on a steel guitar before, look up C6 tuning. You can bring it out to B6 if you want to, which can be a little easier, but C6 tuning is an easy tuning to remember. And like black keys on piano, almost anywhere you go, you're going to make music. I know, Warner Brothers. registers, right? So this is a BR9. These are pretty common guitars, and this is a great investment for you that you may want to try to learn steel guitar. I would recommend flat wound strings to get that really cool 40s, 50s sound. And Hank Williams was, if you listen to Hank Williams records, you'll hear that kind of flat wound string sound. Speaking of which, this guitar is a 1940s Gibson double 8, so it's 8 strings instead of 6 strings, and it's a console grande. And this was a very expensive guitar. I mean, it's made of wood, just like a solid body guitar is. It is bound, double bound. You can see how old the lacquer is on here. You've got a pickup selector switch so you can switch between the 2 different necks. You can have both necks on. A lot of times when you have both necks on, the volume comes down just a little bit. Whatever. And then you can switch over to this neck. So you can have 2 different tunings on here. 8 strings get you a little more spread, and you got to think about that a little bit as you're playing. This console grande, if you look at the flame on here, the camera can come in and look at some of the flame on here. These were very expensive in the day, and they're rare. And you can see the fall away, so they can have this proper geometry to get the strings to break angle onto the tuners. And then this has the slug magnets too. There's no adjustment for these. So this is that earlier magnet I spoke of earlier, and I'm going to put both on, but I'm going to give that a little more juice here. So you can have 2 different tunings. You can hear that dark richness out of these slug magnets. These are a longer scale length, so you're able to reach up into these upper registers without the frets being so close together. You're able to reach out a little bit on these. So there you go. We have some table steels. We've got some lap steels. I got about a half a dozen in stock, and I'm always looking for Fender steel guitars. If you know of any, or if you have a spare around you're not using anymore, we'd love to take them in on trade or buy them from you. And any old Gibsons, Fenders, Rickenbachers, or Nationals. So look on our website, find the steel guitars, and consider taking one home. If you didn't like it, we'd take it back, okay? There we go. That's all I got for now, but I'll do this.